There it is. And this is Stacy McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast, where CEOs, senior leaders, and C-suite executives share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders know how to share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Sam P. Lark Jr. I am a military spouse, and I'm a public speaker. I speak to those who are looking for a more effective way of job search. I share my experience of how I struggled after doing the year-old, go to school, get good grades, and graduate, go to college, and you can find the job of your dreams, work there for about 40 years, and then retire and live happily ever after. That didn't work. We know that's a fairy tale. So thankfully, I found out the benefit of building rapport, building a good connection with your network that actually can be a sponsor for you and hopefully get you recommended in. So I teach people how to use social media to really build those effective relationships, not necessarily by just knowing a lot of people, but having them know you so well that they're willing to help you out.
So you're saying it's a little bit more than just having 5,000 friends on Facebook?
It's really more than having just those 5,000 friends. It's as if you have somebody out the blue you may be connected to, but you have never had a conversation and they come and ask you for something. No one likes that. You want to make sure that you have some kind of relationship currency, where you actually know that person and they know you, so that when you do come to them for guidance, help, they're willing to do that because you have built that connection.
That leads me really nicely into, my first leadership question, which is, from your perspective, what's the best thing about leading people?
Just helping them. Honestly, I love the quote that Zig Ziglar put out there. He said, you can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. And that is so true. I try my best every day to live by that. And, the goal for me is enough. In that quote, the word enough can't be measured. So your job is just to do good and more good and more good. And then over time, you'll look back and then all of that good, you'll start to reap the benefit of that. And the keynote here is, it's not necessarily always from that same source. It's like the law of sowing and reaping. What you put in is definitely multiplied by what you get out, but you're not always going to get back from those same people you help. So you don't have an ulterior motive, but you're going to help people and hopefully have them do the same thing.
And start that cycle of pay it forward.
Exactly.
That's amazing. It's interesting. I'll often hear from other leaders that business would be great if it weren't for that pesky people part. I'm curious, what are your thoughts about that?
I've heard that as well. I'm actually in customer service in my day job, so I do understand that. But at the end of the day, everyone has a purpose, even though sometimes difficult people to deal with, because they could be a true litmus test. They can show you how much you either have grown as a person or a professional, or they can show you how much you need to grow as a person or a professional.
And in that gap, there's your learning.
Exactly.
Between where you are and where you need to be. I love that. So if I had a group of leaders sitting here right now, what piece of advice about communication would you give to them?
I love Dale Carnegie, how he put it. He said, to be interesting, be interested. So the important thing is focus on other people. Listen more than you talk. Because honestly, the people that enjoy conversations are those that enjoy talking about themselves. So honestly, when you're leading people, you want to make sure that they know that you are invested in them and it's not all about you.
Do you find sometimes as a leader, it's hard to fight that tendency to speak about your preference or, what you would want in a situation?
I've had a lot of practice. My background is I grew up in the church, so it was a lot of servant and, self sacrificing and just putting others first. And I carry that into my marriage. So for me, it's not hard, but I've had 3 decades to, practice that. But I can see how it can be challenging for others because innately we all want to take care of ourselves and help ourselves go forward. So it's something that I have to work on every day.
Well, like you said, 3 decades of practice, you'll develop a bit of mastery over that time period by investing, time and energy in that space.
Agreed.
You know, as we think about this, and as you encourage people to go out and, you know, develop themselves, you know, who else like yourself, what other successful business leaders like yourself should be on the podcast? You know, who else should we be listening to?
Marcus Carey, with no doubt. He is a Navy veteran, phenomenal philanthropist. He is well known in the cybersecurity world. He's written several books. He's actually successfully sold his previous company, ThreatCare, last year. And this year, he's actually now doing a free course where he's teaching those that want to go into cybersecurity. He's giving away knowledge twice a week ever since March. And I'm actually in his course. So he's a phenomenal individual.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. All right. And then our final question, magic number 6 for you. Tell us about your favorite boss or teacher. Who's really influenced you?
My current boss, Tim Bushnell. He and I, we work at GoDaddy. That's where I have my day job. And I'm an account manager. And he and I started out together. I've been there for over 4 years. So we were colleagues at one point, and then over time, he became my boss. And I love the fact that he is a servant leader that is all about getting to know the actual person. He wants to do whatever he can do to make sure that you are happy, whether it's at the current company or if you need to go elsewhere, whatever that may be. But he wants to know what is going to make you happy. It's not about the bottom line. It's not about his metrics, his numbers. He truly cares about people. And I'm not the only one that notices that. So honestly, I love the man for that.
That's amazing. I love that. Because again, I think the authenticity of actually connecting human to human, person to person is really what is missing a lot. And then you talk about in a technology world like GoDaddy or something like that you would find that a lot of time would be spent on what's the technology, answer. And sometimes it's not about the technology. Sometimes it's about the human interaction. So that's beautiful. Well, it's been such a pleasure to have you on this show. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. If somebody wanted to reach out and introduce themselves or learn more about you, how might they go about that?
LinkedIn, by far the easiest way and the one that I really pay attention to the most on social media. And it's really easy to find me. But of course, I'm pretty sure you'll put the link where it needs to be.
I'm
Sam P. Lark Jr. If you find somebody else with my name, let me know because my parents have some explaining to do. There's another one out there.
I know, pretty sure that mold got broken, pretty hardcore
so.
Afterwards. Well, it has been a wonderful opportunity to get a chance to know you and to hear some of your ideas. So I encourage everybody to go and check you out. But in the meantime, this is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast. For more ideas and insights, please do go check us out at www.concilioteam.com. And we look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.